Hello, my flowers, and welcome back to my page, Messages from Venus. You guys, this is yet another deck review. This is the Roaring Tarot deck review. This deck was modified by yours truly because this deck has so much detail, so much to give, and it's different systems all in one, okay? So let's get started. This is the back. This deck, you guys can check out my 60-second first impressions. I try my best to do my 60-second first impressions for all of my decks on my Instagram page, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. So again, this deck is modified. I trimmed the top of the deck, or some of the cards, because it just was kind of like taking away from the actual pictures. And this deck comes with different it comes in different languages, which I love. Diversity. I love the artwork. I love it's not like contemporary Rider-Waite-Smith. And this deck is pretty old. I want to say, let me see, yeah, it's from 1995. I think it was first published back in 1995. So it must have been a brilliance back in the days when it came out initially. You can read this deck in reverse. You can read this deck upright. It has Roman numerals. It uses the runes. It uses the Rider-Waite-Smith system, upright and reverse. It uses imagery, astrology, numerology, art. I want to say that this is I want to say this is like Kabbalah, or like is a Jewish scripture. I'm not quite sure. I have never read the book. However, I'm very much in tune with this deck because it gives so much. It does so much for your thoughts, for your feelings. It touches on so many things. And it also gives different meanings to the cards. Like, for example, this deck, this card is the Eight of Swords. You don't see a lot of like mental anguish in this card, so it can easily translate to other things. It can easily translate to you moving on to separate horizons, for giving rest to not just the right side of your brain, but also the left side of your brain, to give into peace, at the fact that you can have willpower. Look, there's a lot of things that you can do with that one card that doesn't necessarily mean the Eight of Swords, but you can also clearly see the Eight of Swords because they have their hands behind their head, behind their backs, and that's something that can easily be fixed. Also, if you don't like nudity, of course, this is not a deck for you. This deck to me can be used by anybody. Doesn't necessarily need to be an advanced learner or an advanced reader at all. Because of the images, because it has so much to give. I feel like anybody can read with it and use it. But from a distance, you can see that this deck is for, or it should be suitable for advanced readers, but anybody can use this deck. The colors are so vibrant. The energy is so old but fresh at the same time. I feel like this deck was above and beyond its time. I feel like this is a deck that maybe should have been published now, and it was published over 20 years ago. And the people in this deck are also like, they're human. They have the human aspect to them. However, I do feel like they also have like an intergalactic feel. Like it's the people of the future type of a thing. It's like a maze. Like, this is the tower, but it's also a maze. Is it the tower or the devil? Let me see. Yes, it's the tower, but it's like a maze. It's like you figure stuff out. And this deck also, you guys, due to the symbolism, I do feel like a lot of Mason or people in that world, in that type of frequency, were very much in cahoots with creating this deck. I feel like the creator of this deck was probably a Mason himself due to the imagery. You can't let go of that imagery. And a lot of people in that world probably own this deck as well. This deck has a lot of sexual energy, but I feel like it's because of the creativity and the thought and the beauty of the deck. A lot of sexual energy. It's one of those decks that will never die off. It'll be recreated. It'll be redone. It's also gilded in gold on the sides. Again, I just modified the deck. It also gives me the feel of like the never-ending story and the people within the never-ending story. So I'm not going to show you guys all of the cards, but it's definitely a deck that's above and beyond its time. So very easy to shuffle, y'all. Very easy to shuffle. I just made it smaller because my hands are smaller, and I mean, they were just too big, too long for me. Not too big, but too long. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.